And my first question is probably the most obvious one: is in today's world, how important is a performance management system? You know, and also tagged onto that, how has this situation changed over the last 5 years? What have we got now that we didn't have maybe 5 years ago, and why is it so important? And you know, you've made the plunge. Can I start with you?
Yeah, sure. I guess a similar question you'd have asked 5-10 years ago: is sports science important in football in terms of how far it's come along in a short period of time? The sports science support that a lot of football clubs, particularly at our club, is just growing. It's very ambitious, and there's so many things you can collect and analyse now. In terms of pro zone, so you've got distance covered on the pitch, plus there's shots, pass success, things like that. But you can monitor so many things outside of the match now. You can look at distance you cover in training, heart rate during training sessions, how well the players slept, anything muscle soreness. There's all these areas coming in which we can now measure, which people wouldn't probably have thought of measuring a little while ago, and also wouldn't have known how to. Now you can measure all those things. It's about doing something with it. Like, it's great. It's a great tool to have. But the more things you have, the more data you're collecting, the more pressure you're under if you like to actually do something with it. So being able to bring all of these things together into one system, into one area, and to be able to analyse all this data and actually produce something with it is kind of the next logical step. And I think it's going to, as sports science pushes on and as technology pushes on, being able to collect, centralise, and use the information you're collecting is kind of, it's going to grow as well.
So should we see this? Should we see this as evolutionary or revolutionary in terms of technology? Is this just a progression?
I mean, back in the early 90s, I'll show you how old I was, I started fluffing around with databases with the different sports teams I've worked with. So yeah, it has been an evolution, and it's picking up a huge amount of pace. And certainly in the last 2 years, in my role as performance manager of sports science and strength conditioning, so it's looking at getting the players as healthy on the pitch as I can, and all the other aspects around making sure our players are prepared correctly and feel in the best position to hopefully go and win games. It has been certainly an acceleration in the last 2 years. We've been looking really seriously at all our information flows, where they all come in, how we look at those, and trying to find the correlations between the things which make us successful and the things which we are doing which maybe don't. So it has been an evolution, but it's picking up a huge amount of pace. There's been a huge amount of resource going to strength conditioning and sports scientists and performance managers to look at this aspect of it, and it's good money spent because we can make the players healthier, and we can enhance performance for not just the short term but the long term. So yeah, it's been an evolution, but certainly in those last 2 years, and in the next 2 years, it'll be frightening to see where we get to. You know, the amount of information we're getting and our ability to analyse the players and the key partners with Prozone who we're linked in with. We obviously trace heart rate, we look at our training minutes, we look at our medical records on the players and the types of treatments and the type of sessions we do, and with all these feeds coming in. Certainly the process in the last 2 years has sped up remarkably, and I can see it only accelerating further. So it's where we're going. There isn't any denying this is where we have to get to, and to be competitive, and we're competing against Leicester City. You know, we've got to be as competitive as we can. So, you know, you've got to evolve with it. That's our perspective.
Yes, I'm just going back from a youth rugby perspective. The children that are coming through to elite level, would you like to see them monitored more at a younger age? Because you know the amount of sport that the kids play through club, school, and just general. How would you like to see them monitored more before they come through, through the systems? Because there's a lot of boys that will play through injury, and you ask them, have you played sport today? No. And you know that they've had a 2-hour basketball session. And I'm just wondering, through a younger age, would you prefer them to be monitored with a system like this?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'd say definitely in an ideal world you could, but in terms of resources and availability to do that, it's not going to be that easy, because obviously this is the future.
Yes.
Your interactive phone. I've got two daughters, and that's what they are on continuously. And it's exactly you say there about the kid who's played the basketball. I had a cricket player who played a hockey tournament and then rocked up for his cricket practice and rubbish.
You know, that's what we've been doing today, and then it came out afterwards. So just the same as that player communication there that these guys have already got into, the players can, it comes up and they can just tab on there, what have they done today and how they're feeling. They're already getting that, and that's exactly what we have at our academy. You know, so it's absolutely. The footballer you see now, in 5 years' time will be totally different. 10 years' time will just be remarkably different. You know, the goalposts have shifted from. I mean, when I first worked in cricket, at lunchtime they were still having a lager shandy in championship county matches. Lager shandy. Remarkable.
I don't see the issue with that. That sounds.
They liked it. They liked it. Feel tough. Devastating.